Savannah Chrisley, Julie Chrisley's daughter, is totally shattered over the prison terms and says an appeal is forthcoming. Savannah Chrisley, Todd and Julie Chrisley's daughter, updated fans on her parents' plans to appeal their federal fraud charges after their first 2 weeks in prison. The pair was sentenced to a total of 19 years in jail after a jury found them guilty of conspiring to cheat community banks out of more than $30 million in fraudulent loans, as well as conspiring to defraud the IRS. Savannah, 25, stated she's had the toughest week of her life after saying goodbye to her mother and father before they reported to prison in a new edition of her Unlocked podcast titled Trashbox Tabloids and the Truth, and is leaning on her faith to get her through the difficult time. This isn't an ideal scenario, but we take comfort in knowing it's not the end, she said. Never in a million years did I believe I would be talking about both of my parents walking into a federal jail. There have been a lot of tears, a lot of fury, a lot of screaming, and a lot of being absolutely devastated to my core. But I've had to figure out how to rebuild, and I think we're getting there, albeit slowly. She stated that meeting her parents for the first time gave her a feeling of hope and calm that she had not anticipated. Going to a prison camp brought me serenity, Savannah confessed. I'll tell one thing, I've never felt the presence of Jesus more than I did in that room. It was such an overwhelming feeling. She went on to say, I'm sitting in a room with my father and all these other men, and I've never felt Jesus' presence so strongly. Even just thinking about it makes me joyful. The folks who work there are completely misunderstood. Savannah urged her audience to soften your hearts and soften your prejudices towards specific persons and situations. According to Savannah, Todd and Julie's attorneys want to submit an appeal in mid-February. I trust our attorneys in God, knowing that God's plan is far greater than any plan we could ever dream for ourselves. Savannah further claimed that a government official wrongfully seized property by utilizing an unsigned warrant, and that an IRS agent lied during the trial. I have faith in this appeals circuit to do the right thing, to study all of the evidence, all of the court documents, because there will be Fourth Amendment violations as apparent as day. Savannah also stated that, while things are difficult, the family is doing okay while Todd and Julie are incarcerated. What I've known for the past 25 years. It's difficult now that my folks are gone. My dad is my absolute best friend, and I don't just pick up the phone and call him, she sobbed. It feels like a slow death. In a way it is grief. I'm grieving the loss of my parents and what I know. She described having to help her 16-year-old brother Grayson and 10-year-old stepsister Chloe through the process of not having their parents present. It pains me to know that my parents are missing out. Every day, I strive to get mom and dad home, she recalls telling her siblings. Savannah admitted she struggles with keeping a positive attitude, but she believes he's encouraging transformation via the power of prayer. I believe God put him there to make a genuine difference, she said of her father. He is at work at the chapel. I've never been more proud of my father and the guy he's become. After being denied bail pending an appeal, the reality TV stars reported to different prisons on January 17th. Todd sent a religious message on Instagram before reporting to prison. He is always punctual. #FightTheGoodFight. Todd captioned a religious song performance video. Prosecutors said that the Chrisleys used forged documents to obtain loans from banks. They also alleged Julie submitted a fraudulent credit report and fake bank statements while attempting to rent a house in California. Todd was sentenced to 12 years in jail, and Julie was sentenced to 7 years in prison after being charged with bank fraud and tax evasion in August 2019. Following the completion of their prison sentences, they will each be required to serve 16 months of probation. Julie's convictions included conspiracy to commit bank fraud, tax fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. She was also hit with wire fraud and obstruction of justice charges. She reported to the satellite minimum security camp at the BOP facility in Lexington, a source confirmed to Fox News Digital. Todd was convicted of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, tax fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. He checked into the minimum security facility, Federal Prison Camp Pensacola. The Chrisleys did see a minor court victory in 2019 when the Georgia Department of Revenue cleared the couple of a $2 million state tax evasion charge stemming from a 2-year investigation from nearly 8 years of returns beginning in 2008. The Department of Revenue dropped its claim that the couple owed more than $2.1 million in unpaid state taxes, penalties, and interest, and updated the total outstanding debt to under $110,000.